Hi everyone, my name is Beatrice. I'm a Master's of Organizational Psychology student here at Macquarie University. I am here this morning with Professor Jo Earle, Professor of Psychology at Macquarie University, and I read an article this week in The Lighthouse about her research, and I just thought it would be a good idea to ask her a few more questions about it. Yeah, welcome, Jo.
Yeah,
How are
well,
you?
thanks very much, Beatrice. I'm very pleased to be able to talk about this today.
Yeah, really pleased to be able to talk to you more about what you've been doing. Um, so you work mainly in the retirement planning um, um, space, and in the article it was talking about something that you created for retirement planning. But just to start off, why is retirement planning so important?
Well, I think retirement planning's important for a couple of different reasons. I mean, firstly, that it allows people to make more considered decisions along the way as they approach retirement. We also know that there's good evidence that where people have accumulated resources in retirement, it improves their retirement adjustment. And it also increases their mastery. That is, if things change unexpectedly, people feel like they're more in control of their situation, even if in reality, some of these things are difficult to manage.
Yeah. So you mentioned some of the resources people can accumulate. So what are some of those resources?
Well, most of the research I've done over about the last 10 years, or 12 years in particular, have focused on a resource planning model that includes these sort of six buckets. So that's finance, health, social, cognitive, emotional, and motivational. So that's the main model that we've been working with. It's a model that came out of the US by a researcher called Mo Wang, who's also the editor of Work, Aging and Retirement. So he's worked in the retirement space primarily over the past 12, 15 years.
Yeah, no, thanks for providing that background. What about this program that you've developed and tested and evaluated? Are you able to share a bit more about that with us?
Mm. So one of the things we've been using the resources model, and we've been testing it, we've been collecting a lot of data longitudinally. But one of the things that we became aware of in the ABS data is that there are a lot of people who leave work and then try to get back in. About 160,000 people were affected by that in the last iteration of the retirement intentions data. So we started thinking about maybe what we need to do is before they even start thinking about accumulating resources to make more informed decisions about how and when they leave work. So, what we added in to the model was careers at the very top of the pyramid. So, if you think about the most important parts of those resources being health and wealth, what we wanted to do is add in a careers module to get people to think more about that workplace timing exit. So, there's three modules basically. There's the careers module, then they do a health module, and then they do a finance module.
Yep. Yeah, sounds great. And so in the program, there are quite a few like different videos and interactive exercises relating to these topics. So it's actually very engaging as the users kind of go through it, and it's very easy to follow. Sounds like.
Yeah, it is. And we evaluated the program to make sure that it held up. So we had about more than 800 people, 820 people go through the program, go through our research program across Australia. And the comments that we got back too were really helpful in us continuing to improve the program. But a lot of people commented on how accessible the materials in the modules were and how much they got them to reflect on where they were in terms of thinking about that retirement journey. So the feedback was good, but we also saw good results from the metrics that we took a closer look at as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, since you're mentioning about metrics, what are the outcomes that you actually studied?
Yeah, so we sort of look at these four different categories. There's the retirement planning behaviours, which we've always tracked, but there's also workplace intentions, that is, how and when people want to leave work and how comfortable they feel about the choices they're making, how much autonomy they feel they have about those decisions. Then there's financial decision making, which includes things like financial literacy and then goals and goal striving. So there was these four big categories, quite a comprehensive survey we used to collect all the data to make sure that we weren't just finding out that people really liked the program, but maybe it didn't really change anything about their thinking or behaviour.
Mm.
And we saw improvements in metrics across a number of those different areas.
Yeah, wow. So in the end, what results did you find?
Well, I think in general, the modules worked. They worked well in terms of getting people to especially think about things to do with how much choice they had over the decision to leave work, about things like their planning in relation to their own financial situation. So, superannuation, for example, and budgeting was things that they took a greater interest in, financial literacy, and also feeling like they could make a difference in terms of the goals that they set. So they expected to meet the goals that they set for themselves. So those were the categories that we looked at, and then we also got people to rate the modules on a scale of 1 to 5, and everyone rated the 3 modules 4 and above. So we were pretty pleased with it from the metrics point of view, as well as the comments back from participants.
Yeah, that sounds like it was really effective. I read in the article there were actually a few different groups. So some people went to actually do the modules, but then another group actually did it with the modules plus advice. Would you be able to kind of
Yeah.
maybe talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. We know for sure that one of the things that magnifies the value of those modules is when you couple it with advice. So we know that if you're thinking about doing the modules, it's a good idea to involve other people. So thinking about, for example, the careers module, who else do you need to talk to? Do you need to talk to your partner, maybe an employer, maybe other people working in professions that you want to be in? So that you can get a more holistic, understanding of what that career path for you might look like. Same with health, when you get health checks, that helps. And then with the finance modules, we had financial advisors, so registered financial advisors, giving just information and general advice. So even talking to super funds or seeing a financial advisor or just getting yourself more educated about where your finances are and talking to other people working in those areas can be helpful.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's really great because obviously when you think about retirement planning, it's yeah, it involves a lot of different people, different parties. So it's good that the program kind of tested that as well. So what are the practical implications from the study?
Well, I think that we're making the modules available. Firstly, I think that's the most exciting thing, and we've got a. It's just a small fee. Well, it's $50 to do the 3 modules, and the reason that we're making them available at a low cost is because, well, we've had a lot of support to develop the modules, fortunately, from the ARC and from Allianz Retire Plus. But we also want a lot of people to try to do the modules to just maybe expand their thinking a little bit. And the money that we get from that $50 is put back into the program to develop it for the future and also to provide ongoing support, just even having someone at the end of an email if you've got a problem.
Yeah, that's really great. Just last question. So what really differentiates these e-learning modules from what's already in the market?
Yeah, I think that I think a lot of people have an idea about what determines a good retirement. I think it's important that whenever you do training, that it's fully evaluated, that you're not just having a look at what people think about the program, but whether or not it's worked. And I think that's one of the things that sets our research as well as the modules apart from other programs that are available is it's fully evaluated. And I would encourage people when they're trying to make a decision about engaging in any sort of training to have a look at what the evaluation of that training's been before they invest their time and effort into it.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds great. Thanks so much, Joe, for being with us today. Those are all my questions. If there's anyone else who has questions, where can they reach you?
Well, this is loaded up onto YouTube, and so people can just make a comment and I can respond to that.
Mhm.
I look forward to getting people's comments. So
Yeah,
thanks very much for interviewing me, Beatrice. I appreciate it.
yeah, thank you, Joe.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.